February 9th, evening, edge of bridge. I put the 4 flasks in the giant's chalice and then moved it to the ceremony site where the ground gave way and a stone bridge appeared. Okay, I don't think I actually read this. There's some kind of garage, or warehouse on the other side. Heisenberg's place, I presume. I don't want to be apart from Rose, but there's only a little left to do. Wait for me, my dear. Yeah, because remember we put the flasks into the giant chalice thing in the ground, and then we were able to move the chalice, which is kind of weird. And we moved it to ceremony site. Yeah, I always mix up ceremony site and the altar. February 9th, evening, factory underground. So it's dark out and people are considering it evening. Is that how people really look at like the time of day? I always think of evening as just being kind of part of the afternoon going into like when it gets dark out myself. I don't know the official definition, but Heisenberg asked me to help him, but he just wants to use Rose against Miranda. Miranda, Heisenberg, they're all the same, fighting over Rose's power. Something that's no match for any of them? Crazy. I mean, she's just a baby. I need to get to the surface so I can save her. Okay. February 9th, evening, scrap heap. That's a lovely name. It's hard to believe what Chris just told me. Really, Ethan? Really? Alright, I'm gonna talk about that comment in a second. He didn't shoot Mia, but Miranda. She can change her appearance and pretend to be Mia. She wants Rose for some experiment with that fucking mold, and Chris is trying to stop her. Pardon my English accent, Ethan. Watch your mouth, dude. I feel like I've been thrown into the nightmare from Louisiana all over again. Alright, so first of all, we know that she's not just a baby. They literally pulled her into pieces. and we're being told we can save her. We know she's not just a baby. Mia and Ethan were both worried about the baby to begin with, so he shouldn't be overlooking this. Plus, he never was treated. He knows that, how could he not know that there's something up with himself at this point? Like, that part I don't get. And I also disagree with him. I don't think Heisenberg's really that interested in Rose's power. I think he just wants to get away from Miranda and get out of this. I mean, and I could be wrong. Maybe he does, but he seems sincere about just wanting to not be a part of this. That he got sucked into this. I'm not saying that he wouldn't turn his back on us and use her in the end, but I don't think that is like, whether that's what he's thinking or not, I don't really see Heisenberg necessarily as a complete antagonist to us. Ethan's just, as far as I can see, being, I don't know, stubborn might be a way of looking at it. Because to me, making an enemy out of a guy who wants to take out Miranda is not a very smart move. Because that's exactly what we did. So we walked into this place. He offered us a deal to work together, threatened to push us down in the hole, and then, because Ethan didn't listen, that's what ended up happening. Hey, Sacred. Welcome to the party. Alright, so the other thing is here. It's hard to believe what Chris just told me. We literally knew everything Chris told us ahead of time. We literally read about all this in their notes. Like, Chris is like, I'll fill you in, finally. And then, like, he tells us absolutely nothing we don't know. And the one thing he says that I'm like, that can't be right, is that she's a bioweapon, because nobody made her. She made herself. As far as we know. As far as I know, she made herself into what she is. She's not really a bioweapon. She's just a person that does research and is trying to get her I'm assuming her daughter back, because she keeps talking about her child. So, I don't see her as being a bioweapon. Alright. Exposition. And personal exposition there. Okay, so that's where we left off. Chris basically said, I was going to fill you in. Didn't tell us anything we didn't already know from documents laying around, most of them from his own people. And then left us with this big, lovely device, which is supposedly not going to be affected by the magnetics of Heisenberg's abilities, which also, to me, does not make sense. But okay. Let's see what this does. Wow, that took a long time.
Metal polymer composite, huh? Time to fight fire with fire.
Alright, so...
I'm coming, Rose.
Let's see. Get ready cannon, fire cannon, guard, and a machine gun. Okay. Cool. Well, that's pretty straightforward controls. Remember, his last words to us were basically to keep a low profile. Take this to the surface and keep a low profile. Again, this does not scream low profile to me. In fact, it screams literally the opposite. That machine gun and the cannon and the chainsaw are all gonna do some screaming. Lack of a better word. I totally should have done my exposition over the elevator. Right.
You're like a goddamn cockroach! You think you can take me on? Fine. This'll be my warm-up before I kill that bitch. Let's settle this. Man, a man. Your corpse will be another addition to my army. Impressed? Hey now, you dead already? Whoa there. Time to wrap things up. That one hurt, I promise. So this is the path of fatherly love, huh? Hey! Steel on steel! I need room! That one hurt, I promise. Coward! In the face of my steel glory! Guess I do have to thank that bitch Miranda for this. I'll kill her with the power she gave me. That's what I call being a good son! I thought, spending years under the bitch's throat. The villagers are nothing but a bunch of worthless cleaners. I'm a goddamn freedom fighter! I'll use your cute little dog to become more powerful than ever! His nose is dead, Laura. What's wrong, Ethan?
Don't miss. Can I heal on this thing?
Hey! Time to test this baby out! The clock is ticking, Ethan. Detective.
Doesn't look like he's doing too good.
Quit just fooling yourself!
It's bad place to have a saw blade.
That boulder punching asshole! But you're first! Well done, and the world's watching! Here we go, Ethan! The final stretch! Well, what do you think?
Items.
It's hopeless.
Get items.
Right. Just give up. Flesh
Actually,
and
it's
blood
not that
won't win
intimidating so far,
against me.
dude.
This isn't David and Goliath. It's Ethan and a bloody demise!
There's probably more items around here. Before I take them out. Let's assume that's probably it.
Come on! Too bad I'm your only You really should have taken my deal. You'll meet Rose in the afterlife. Rose's power is one.
Oh, flat
Right
spicy.
after I murdered Miranda.
I thought he was snapped with the control gun.
This can't be the end for me! I must kill her!
Yeah, he started changing his tune there a bit. About just wanting to kill Miranda. Now he wants to be powerful.
Ethan? I heard explosions. What the hell happened?
I dealt with Heisenberg. Now I'm gonna find Miranda and get Rose back.
Not without me. It's too dangerous. Wait there, you hear me? Ethan?
Rose?
Ethan! Ethan, respond!
Well, don't push the gun at her.
Mia?
Our child. She's so important, isn't she?
She's everything to me.
And mine to me. With Heisenberg gone, you've lost your lead. What are you going to do?
I don't know, but I'm saving Rose.
You'd never know, do you? Even when I took Mia's place in your home. Poor Ethan.
Who are you? Where's Rose?
You know who she is.
Miranda.
Enough. Remember Eveline and her power over them all? Rose is her successor. No. Rose is Eveline's true, complete form. She will grow to fully control the masses. And I must have her.
Fuck you, you crazy bitch!
Calm yourself. Rose will be saved. The Megamycete catalogs all of us. However, she will be reborn as my daughter.
She's my child, not yours! Where are you? Show yourself!
Why did Rose come to be? Was it because of her parents? And you are truly a special case. But
love
I've
that
learned
reveal
all
there.
I can. Your worth as a lab rat has run out.
That she's the old lady.
Miranda! You coward! Come out and face me!
Don't worry. Your death will come quick. You will join the Megamycete's records. I will make sure to sample your blood for later. Once dawn breaks, the ceremony will be complete, and I will become her true mother, bound for eternity in blood.
So what just happened there directly negates something they say
I
later.
waited so long.
The heart thing.
But dreams really can come true. Vessel or not, I can't wait to see my true child again.
It does make more sense this way, though. With what you see versus what they say. That whole her transforming thing would have been so much more impressive if she didn't just have clothes appear on her body. That doesn't make any sense. The rest of it plays in if you don't really listen to the whole heart situation later. Which is probably, I think the game is probably going for what I'm thinking they're going for, but, and I'm just reading into it.
Captain, I've confirmed the death of Ethan Winters. I wasn't able to retrieve the body, but I've recorded evidence.
Share your screen, and I'll go over the situation. My team and I were careless. Yesterday, We took down the transformed Miranda, but we didn't kill her.
Who knew she could fake being a corpse?
Since Miranda could have infected Ethan, I forcefully took him and Rose with us. But the vehicle they were riding in was attacked. When I got to the wreck, Ethan and Rose were gone. The last time I was able to contact Ethan, I heard Miranda's voice. She murdered him. And she is not gonna get away with it. God damn it, when does it end?
What's that, sir? The mission?
Never took Chris for a
All
smoker.
of it. 3 years trying to put this thing in the ground. 3 years too long.
If I were him, I probably would too.
We'll get her, Captain. The squad's ready for you.
So BSAA got here already? They didn't waste any time?
Mission adjustment?
No, doesn't change anything. Terminate Miranda and rescue Rose. That's the mission. And failure's not an option.
Let's have some fun, people. Like old times.
Move out.
Roger.
Okay.
Confirms that the BSAA
K9,
was
I want to know what the hell BSAA is doing here. Find out what you can.
Roger that. I'm on it.
not involved. I say
Been
you
a while
initially.
since we fought together, Captain. When was it last? The desert?
Doing nothing but recon's gotten me out of shape.
But thanks to your recon, we know Miranda's plan.
Couldn't quite believe it when I heard she turned herself into Mia, though.
Taking 5 shots to the head's nothing to sneeze at either. Spooky.
It's because at first you're probably thinking he's working with the BSAA, and you realize he's not. This is his own unit. I'm assuming that they used to work together. This crew. I don't know if it's when he was in the Air Force or later.
Hey, Alpha. Look at this.
I think it was Air Force that he was in.
BSAA. They've gone too far. Christ.
Looks pretty rough down there. How are you planning on reaching the objective?
First, we're gonna have to take that thing out.
I've got your back, boss. Let's get to work.
Everyone watch for hostile bioweapons.
Roger.
I'm kind of curious as to why they chose to make the mold look like that. Interesting. It looks more like a plant and
Made contact with a group of hostile bioweapons.
Watch out.
molds have a closer relationship to us than they do with plants. So that wouldn't really make too much sense. This has got to be fixed. I guess that works. I'll waste all my rifle rounds on these other guys.
Western route is clear. Moving out.
Roger that.
It's kind of weird seeing the village like this.
Spot. 2 guards. I can take it.
Don't get cocky.
What the hell is that thing? It's all Megamycete.
That's probably where Miranda is. Let's go.
Except that it's not technically. Remember, this is the origin place. I think they've already referred to it by its local name or origin name. Bad.
The mold may be releasing infectious particulates. Keep your masks on. Didn't expect to see the BSA.
Right. Okay, come on.
Northwest is clear to point 2.
Chris's signature move. The punch. This rifle's packed quite a hit. Those things did not go down easy in the with Ethan. Again, strange design to go for with them.
Hey boss, it's me. I'm at the location preparing for support fire. Might be a minute.
Roger.
Tundra here. Leaving some supplies in one of the houses, Captain. Help yourself.
That's the game's way of saying just go all out, isn't it? I'm gonna need to change that. That's gonna get really confusing. And okay, that's gonna get confusing too, but. Not that way. This way? No. This way? What's in here? Is this the room I was just in? So this way.
I need some backup.
I see you. 200 to the point.
Not the same thing. You guys already confirmed that? Pretty sure I learned that from them. Come on, give it up already.
Hey, I get eyes on you, boss.
Notice how they're not dropping anything, any loot or anything like that.
She died and gone to hell.
I've reached the target location. Damn, this is big. All right, Lobo. Marking the target.
Roger that, boss. Bingo! Alright! Reloading now. Just a minute.
Yeah, I gotcha.
There's a swarm headed that way.
Did not work out the way I thought it would.
Okay, Captain. I'm reloaded. Ready when you are. The mold is rapidly expanding. Must be something stimulating.
PSA, guys, bioweapons. You're right, Captain. They must be after the Megamycete too.
Everyone okay?
They're coming from the mold.
Damn it, these things are using weapons.
Sure they're thinking the same about you.
Bioweapon numbers are increasing. We need to finish them off quick.
Is it target located?
5 more from the mountains. East side.
I'm nearby. I'll handle him.
Takes a minute to target the point. Try another hit. Ah, looks like it's about to collapse. Hold your horses. I'm reloading.
Is that
Roger.
No, too many. Too many. Oh, come on.
Just point the laser at the target and leave the rest to me. Take that!
Good. Megamycete must be below. I found a way down. I'm going in, the rest of you stay back.
Captain, I compared the mold at the village with a sample from the bakers, and there's no sign of the genome editing we saw in the E-series. The stuff originated here.
We know that. I learned that from you guys. Ah, come on, really? I know they're probably saying that because, you know, what if you didn't find that, but... friendly. He just doesn't care.
Guarding the Megamycete, huh? Lobo, I got a tough guy here. I'm gonna need backup.
Boss, you're on the ground.
There's an opening in the roof. Use it.
Okay, I'm moving out. Hold until I get there.
Probably should just be using my knife at this point. Crap. Load it up.
Locator.
Give a guy a break.
Nice. Thought so.
Reloading now. Just a minute.
Tentacles.
I'm reloaded. Where should I go next?
Down. No.
Prepping the next round. Just a sec.
Crap. He's crystallizing.
Hostile bioweapon.
Oh, whoa. What is that?
I'll keep going. The rest of you, stay above ground.
Well. That was not fun. This way, I would assume.
So if Miranda was the fake Mia, where's the real one? I doubt she saw any further use for her. I don't get any of this. How did Miranda even know Rose exists?
A moldy little bird told her, maybe?
We can figure that out later. Focus on the plan.
If she's tapped into the Megamycete, then Eveline could have told her. If anybody would hate us.
I found it. It's the Megamycete.
So, also kind of looks a lot like the Cat-O, so I'm like, again, that's kind of weird. Is the symbol actually supposed to be the Megamycete, not the Cat-O?
Alpha to squad. I've located the Megamycete.
So now we can end this mess after all.
About damn time.
Evie's my kind of angel, I'll tell you that. You love her.
And 2 explosives armed. There's enough there to blow the whole village sky high.
Let's get out of here and blow the damn place.
Not before I end Miranda. I'm not taking any more chances. I'm going in.
Roger that.
If that destroys the place, I think you'd be safe to say she's
I have
gone,
eyes
but...
on Miranda at the ceremony site.
Keep your distance. Do not move until I give the order.
I know it's too late now, but we really should have told Ethan the plan.
There wasn't time. We didn't expect Miranda to act so soon.
Even so, you should have told him.
Yes, I agree. Why leave us in the dark? Because reasons, right? Leaving him in the dark is just as good as inviting him along. I mean, you know he's not going to let that go. That's all he cares about in the world. Ask anyone who has kids what they would do, you know, under these circumstances.
This must be Miranda's lab.
It's always a lab. This doesn't look like any lab I've ever worked in. Okay, we'll read these. Read these. Read these. Alright. Yes, the other Cato looks very similar to the Megamycete. Alright, let's look at the books. That symbol looks like Moreau's. Alright. You know I'm going to have some fun with this, right? We're going to be in here for a while. Alright, subject name, Salvatore Moreau. Cato affinity, low. Brain functions, surprisingly low, which we have seen. The Cato has caused drastic changes to the internal organs, transforming them into organs similar to fish-like gills and a swim bladder. Another subject with irregular cell division, causing him to transform into a giant fish. The subject is unable to control this transformation. Too many defects. An unfit vessel for Eva. A swim bladder. Yes, that's exactly what happens every time you get infected with a parasite. You grow a swim bladder. I would not call it a fish. I would call that more of a, I don't know. I'd call that, that to me, that's, wait, is that all that was in there? Why does she have such a huge book for one person? That was it? Alright. Yes, parasitic infection. Swim bladder. Got it. That looks like Dimitrescu. Name, subject name, Alcina Dimitrescu. Cato affinity, most favorable. Brain functions, normal. Regeneration rate is incredibly fast. The subject can heal any external wounds within seconds and grow her nails into claws in mere moments. Rapid regeneration also means an increased body size. No, that's not what that would mean necessarily. Note, due to a hereditary blood disease, the subject must ingest human flesh and blood on a regular basis to maintain regeneration properties. I suspect that if the subject's regeneration is not properly balanced, then she may mutate uncontrollably. That would make more sense, yes. With rapid regenerating tissues, I would expect, you know, mutation, uncontrollable mutation to occur. You're looking more at a cancer in this case. An unfit vessel for Eva. So we're comparing the two, this kind of success side versus the non, so to speak. Now, again, everything about this actually falls in line with the mold side of things, the regeneration. But the one subject grows a swim bladder, one subject suddenly has claws that can grow, that like Wolverine claws. Like, sorry, not buying that. Bad science, not working. I'll take the regeneration part. You know, if one can do it, the other should be able to do it, though. Hereditary blood disease, I said I brought up, that's probably porphyria, and I think that's what it says if you look it up online. That was my idea. This would be Heisenberg. Alright. If it wasn't bad enough already, we got Magneto here. We basically got the X-Men, right? That's basically what we're getting here. Subject name, Carl Heisenberg. Cato affinity, incredibly favorable. Brain functions, normal. Has electric organs similar to an electric ray, Narce japonica. These electric organs are connected to the subject's nervous system, can therefore pass and control electricity through the entire body, allowing control of magnetic fields, such as which is used to move metal. Splendid specimen, but still an unfit vessel for Eva. Yes, one grows a swim bladder, the other can suddenly conduct current through their body. That makes so much sense. This is making me want to scream. Finally, one that will probably make sense, if I recall. Subject name, Donna Beneviento. Cato affinity, favorable. Brain functions, normal, although severe mental illness. And that could have come from before this, couldn't it? I mean, like I said, she looked like she was a bit... Oh, sacred. No, just no. Mutations are random. Physically, she is no different from a regular human. However, she can secrete a signal-producing substance which controls plants. Okay, never mind. I shot too quick on that. This is getting into pseudoscience again. She can secrete a signal-producing substance which controls plants infected by the Megamycete. No, just no. That okay? Come on. A parasite is going to do it's going to have very minimal difference across subjects. You can't do that. That's just not right. They should all be infected by something different if this is the way things are working. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Trauma-based. When humans absorb the pollen from a particular flower, she can cause them to have hallucinations. No, the flower causes them to have hallucinations. She's not doing anything. However, she is mentally underdeveloped and has divided her Cato amongst her dolls in order to control them from a distance. An unfit vessel for Ava. That made my head hurt so bad. Alright. Okay, I guess none of those actually made sense. Domitresk is the most logic in her. I thought it was going to be Donna. I guess I forgot. And why does the Megamycete look like the Cato?
So
Please,
they're
somebody.
using this to control the bioweapons.
Yeah, I know. They're using parasites to control them. Same as what they did in Resident Evil 4. See, it makes sense to me that they'd want to maybe combine the two. I can understand the logic behind that. Using a parasite to control something, I mean, even though that doesn't really make much sense. Using the mold to help with the regeneration side of things, if that's what it would do, would make sense. How the parasite works needs to be brought out a little bit more, because we know about the mold already. Alright, so embryo development. These are late-stage embryo developments from what I'm used to seeing. If you look at that really tiny one, you're probably going to see something that looks a lot like a fish. Looks like Miranda and a baby. Okay, was there anything on the back of this? No. Yeah, what do you think the trauma comes from, Sacred? I assume that... I was kind of assuming that the grave was a child of hers, but... I don't know, they've never really said that. So a young girl here, Miranda with a young girl, looks like Eveline. Is she wearing a lab coat here? Yeah. Yeah, and that's Eveline from the last game we saw these images. That's probably the lab from Louisiana, I bet. No, come on. No, maybe. No, stop it. That might be the lab from Louisiana. Or a lab similar to it, built similar to it, because it was very similar where they had the glass over the side to observe, and they had, we found molded in the room. You see, even in the DLC in Resident Evil, Not a Hero and End of Zoe actually brought in different types of molded with a little bit of variety, but it made sense because they still looked like molded, they still functioned like molded, but they had adaptations that probably represent their environment. The ones with the huge armor plates on them, yeah, that's what, if you have rapid mutation, if you were to kind of go under standard evolution here with a population like this, eventually over time, armored plates growing over a body, even if it's made of the mold armored plates, that makes sense. That's something that we see happen all the time. And they already did that in the main game. We had the ones growing the armor over their arm, and then an extension of that in End of Zoe was the armor plates all around the body, which to me that actually makes a lot of sense. And because it's the Megamycete is called Megamycete because of rapid mutation, most likely, because it probably induces mutation under circumstance pretty rapidly, that it can it could take on those evolutionary changes rather quickly. Because some animals even do that. Okay, got a guy in a snowsuit, it looks like. It's not just me, right? There's a snowsuit of sorts. We're not going to look at that yet. That's going to be, yeah, same guy again. We'll read the document in a second. What is this? Is that mold? Child or sibling. Oh yeah, it could be a sibling. Yeah, I know. I know that's why they did it. That there was a lack of enemy types in the RE7. That's one of the criticisms it got from a lot of people. But that's the way things work, though. It's like when you're talking about a bioweapon, if you're really changing something very severely, the change you can engineer change, but these were just using the same thing on 4 different people, and they all react completely different, and that doesn't make sense. Like I even maintain, despite Resident Evil's like really good science in parts, Marguerite made absolutely no sense. I mean, even Lucas to some extent in the DLC, but Jack made the most sense out of any character, even him surviving. So, all right. So we'll get back to that in a moment. Dear Miranda, my deepest apologies for not meeting you in person. I would love nothing more than to visit your quaint village once more. However, improper use of however, right? Yeah, however, I am incredibly busy. That should be semicolon, however, comma, right? That's why I've always been taught. I know modern day they say it's okay to do it this way, but it bothers me. Then again, I suppose for an immortal woman such as yourself, you no longer remember this half-dead medical student in the snow. So yeah, like I said, we just saw snow photos there. We all know this is leading towards something if you're a Resident Evil fan. They never don't do something at the end that's mind-blowing, or try to be mind-blowing. I have always cherished the revelation I came to 15 years ago when I stayed in your village. So 15 years ago, this person's been here at the time of this being written. I wonder how long it's been since this was written. He said immortal, so she's been like this for a while, because, being infected with something that allows you to regenerate and doesn't kill you like it did to Eveline would essentially make you immortal if, you could avoid the cancer side of things. That's the problem with animals, is we're susceptible to that. Molds aren't, as far as we know. As far as I know, I should say. I shouldn't say we. Maybe somebody's done that. But, like, bacteria definitely are not subject to age. I don't know if molds really are either. I don't think they are. Mold and plants shouldn't be. They both have shown continuous growth, and tumors and stuff don't really cause them problems because they don't need to work quite as in concert as our organs do. But animals are all susceptible to cancer, and if we live long enough, it will hit us eventually, no matter what. Like, that's just the sad truth of being an animal, unfortunately. We have a life expectancy, so. I was inspired by your research to think one could transform a human by infecting them with an organism. Positively visionary. I knew that with that knowledge, I could achieve my own vision for the next step in human evolution. Even after 2 world wars, and humanity on the cusp of another, my conviction never wavered. 2 world wars. So this is... When would we have been on the cusp of another? Are we looking at, like, Great Depression? My history is terrible. I can never remember the timeline of the Depression when that fell. Are we thinking Cold War, maybe? I'm thinking Cold War, right? I realized, however, through the many English grammar, please. Through the many nights of intellectual talks you and I shared, that your conviction differed from mine. The fact that the grammar is written like that in some cases makes more sense because people tend to write like that. But now we're going back in time where that probably wasn't proper at the time. You hope to bring... Like, how long is it going to take me to read this document? Move ahead, right? I hope to bring back a single dead person while I aimed to change the... Or you hoped to bring back a single dead person. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Thanks, Sacred. Somewhere in there. So we're probably looking more at Cold War then, right? And because I think the Cold War is when, we didn't quite hit the point of another world war. We just, things were not good at that time. There was fear of war, I think, at that point, if I remember. Okay, this is an important line. You hoped to bring back a single dead person, while I aimed to change the world. Your experiments on the mold would not have aided me in my endeavor to achieve an exponential infection. I thought a virus would be more effective. Bells should be going off there. This is why, my dear, I have to leave you. I still regret never telling you goodbye. So who would you think this is? To my mind, if I hadn't already watched somebody play this, three people would come to mind for me. I got to think of their names now. Three people would come to my mind based on what we've read there and what we've seen in the village so far. I got to think of the names though. What the heck is his name? Marcus, right? So you got Marcus, Spencer, and the third was Ashford. Is it Ashford? I might be thinking of Remothered right now and have that stuck in my head. I think it was Ashford or something like that. The three that started Umbrella, basically. I think Ashford was the funds, the one who was bankrolling a lot of it. Spencer's the one who had the mansion built. Marcus had the research training center built. Because we've seen the Umbrella logo here, and if this is going back that far, you'd think it's got to be one of them. And they're talking about viruses now, so... And there you go. My apologies for reminiscing. I actually have news that I thought might please you. I have found the key to evolution, the progenitor, a virus found in Africa. I plan to start a company with friends and colleagues dedicated to the virus research. I will call it Umbrella, just like the symbol in the cave that we spoke about. I am one step closer to making my vision a reality. I hope you will be able to achieve your goal someday too. You taught me so much, and for that I will forever be in your debt. Sincerely, your lifelong student, Oswald E. Spencer. So I think anybody could assume that was one of those three. Or you would assume beyond that, possibly because we didn't read the part about Africa and progenitor, possibly Wesker or Birkin could have been on that list. But those two came into the fold later, so... Alright.
Spencer, here. No way.
Yeah, this is going back a ways. Alright. So if we look around the room, we're seeing some of the stuff we've been running into. I'm going to look around a little bit more here. I don't know what these are. They don't look familiar. They look like people with like growths on the side of their neck. We're seeing wings, which would be kind of like the things on the roof of the castle. Got jars. The cat-o is the thing that doesn't really make sense to me because they don't really explain it. It just exists. Okay. We all know that's going to lead to something. Alright, let's look at these. So that was like the image of Eveline from the previous game. That's the crew. The original crew. So, we got Eveline in the center. We got Mia on the far right. We got, what's his name? Alan, Joni, second from the left. And we got Miranda standing behind Eveline. Do we know the other three? I don't think the other three ever showed up in these stories. I kind of wonder, in a way, if one of them might have been Moreau. Just kind of spitballing on that. Because if Miranda was involved with the Eveline research, like, she was gone from here for a long time, right? Like, how, like, that tanker crash was in... It was 3 years that Mia went missing, so... But they had to have set that lab up really quick, and that lab was functioning for a while if there were... Because they had all this documented data in that lab. Like, they were working with... almost like they were working with her in there, but not really. And I was kind of wondering if Miranda was actually there doing the research there, or if all these images came from here or somewhere else. Because Miranda's in Europe, so the village is in Europe, but it wouldn't have made sense for the entire research team to be in Europe, because Mia was from the States. You know, as far as, I don't know if they ever said where they were from, but we knew they were from the States. And they were on that ship moving her to, I want to say, South America or something like that. That's what they were going for. So, my assumption is that a lot of these were probably taken at a lab in either the States or at the lab in Louisiana, but I'm like, I don't think they were... I think it had to have been before that. Before they moved her. Which means Miranda was actually away from here for a while. Now this is looking a bit faded. So she's just looked that good for ages. Alright, so if I'm thinking about that correctly, So Miranda clearly worked on the Eveline project. That was probably one of her, what she was. That's probably like the product of what she was trying when she was trying to get back her daughter, which is what she's been going on about. And so that had to have been in the States, I would assume, based on that. All right. So let's see. My Ava, it's been 100 years since I lost you to the Spanish flu. Sacred, if you're do me a favor. When was the Spanish flu? When was that was a pandemic, I think, right? When was that? If you could check that out for me. I was so powerless back then, but now I can bring you back to life from the Megamycete. Ah, thank you. Okay. That was a pandemic, right? I think that spread quite a bit. Kind of like the plague, I assumed. Lasts about 3 to 5 years. Yeah, okay. Thank you. I don't know anything about the Spanish flu, so I'd have to look that one up if I wanted to know more about it. But in fact, maybe I should suggest that for a project in class this year. Maybe somebody might be interested in checking it out, and then I can read more about it that way because I'll have to. But now, okay, I saw that. I can bring you back from the Megamycete. So I had to test your new vessel's regenerative abilities. I took her apart and revived her in the Megamycete regulator, the Giant's Chalice. All that is left is to merge her with the Megamycete. The ceremony can finally begin. All right, so she's talking. This is modern right now. She's talking about Rose, essentially. Yeah, I wonder if it's Spanish flu. Yeah, Spanish flu could just be an influenza virus. That would make sense. I mean, most RNA viruses are our biggest issues all the time anyway. The problem with viruses is because like the DNA and retroviruses can integrate with their hosts, so they don't need to actively replicate where RNA viruses do because they can't integrate and they have a high mutation rate, so they have to be active all the time. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I'm guessing it's a type of influenza, but all right. So she is talking about how they split Rose and kind of recombine her. I don't know why they split her, but oh, they're testing her. Okay, I see that now. Got it. Okay. So now she wants to actually combine her with the Megamycete. I don't get why she thinks that would work. Why that would suddenly bring one particular person back. After I lost you, I was so stricken with grief that I wandered into a cave to die. I so wanted to be with you again. And that's when I found it. The Megamycete. Completely by accident. When I touched the black substance, my hand was overcome with knowledge. The Megamycete breaks down and absorbs the consciousness of those who have perished. I knew that if your consciousness was in there too, then there would be a way to bring you back. I just needed the right vessel, which I actually really like the idea behind this. I think this is really cool. The idea of mold storing memories, because mold is essentially a giant network of filaments, and they function as a giant unit, which is really cool. Yeah, I know. I agree with you, Firebird. If you're desperate enough, you might believe anything. And losing a child, if anything, is going to be the thing to push you to that desperation. So pushing her to the point where she was ready to die, wanted to die, and then putting her in this situation. So I like the idea of the collective consciousness in this. How it would work, this is where I'm going to say the pseudoscience can kind of take its reins here, because we don't really understand like why certain organisms, like certain plants and certain plants that move, are still responsive to like chemicals that stop our nerves from functioning, basically. Like why they respond to paralytics, because they don't have a nervous system, but yet they're responding to something that shuts ours down, and which is really bizarre. And so like I can kind of let the pseudoscience take hold here, because we don't really understand how that works necessarily. But that's the way molds work. It's kind of like a giant collective superorganism, because one organism can grow to become miles long as nothing gets in its way. Because mold's pretty fragile. It's a fragile organism, but it can grow and continue to grow, and if it breaks, it just breaks off into two, different parts, and they keep growing, which is really cool, and it becomes this giant tangled web of organism. And then they find other molds that are genetically compatible enough to breed with, but genetically dissimilar enough that they can make another, more genetically diverse version of itself, basically by joining together. Kind of like how animals reproduce, except they just become one organism together. And so they have parts together that are their original self, plus they have parts that are the new combination of them, and then they continue to grow from that point as a unified group while still growing as their own selves elsewhere, which is kind of a weird thing to think about. That might be, yeah, kind of like that, kind of like an anglerfish. Except they're both still kind of separate organisms in a way as well. So like you have like the original part of one mold, the original part of another, then the combined part. So it's kind of cool the way they grow. When I returned to the village, I implanted the villagers with mold from the Megamycete. That way I could control them, experiment on them. I have experimented on hundreds of people just to find you the perfect vessel. I even tried to increase the efficiency of finding a vessel by creating a parasite I call the Cat-O. Yet none of my experiments came to fruition. There were some, like Alcina, who were close to being perfect, but most turned into lichens. Logic, right? There's so much logic in those last two paragraphs. Most just turned into lichens. It's just a passing thing, right? It's just like let's not read into that term too much there. That's what they're telling me. It's just hairy people. It's like one of my favorite comments is like the difference between Dark Souls and Bloodborne. The difference is that Bloodborne everything's just hairier. It just has more body hair. That's the difference. That's a Jacksepticeye Sean thing, which I think is hilarious. Turn into lichen, yeah. The irony of that, lichen, L-I-C-H-E-N. Yes, the irony of that, which is actually a combination of mold and algae, and it's a combination of the two in places where they don't get a lot of moisture, which is why they work together. So you tend to find them on rocks and stuff where they can't grow otherwise. They just work together and kind of ride out the tough times, essentially. And that actually works not just algae, but certain bacteria as well. Form the same thing. They just have to be photosynthetic for it to work. If it's on purpose, I mean, I don't think most symbiosis is on purpose. It's just they happen to conjoin together and work together, essentially. It just happens to work out that way. Most of the time when symbiosis occurs, it's because something's trying to eat something else. Oh, that. Oh, yeah, the lichen versus lichen. Yeah, gotcha. That, I don't know, that could have been. I didn't liken that. Sorry, bad joke. I was once approached by an organization who said they would assist me. I gave them some of the mold and your DNA. And this is probably talking about the connections, I assume. But all they created was another defect, Eveline. So this I can understand. I think this is a really cool tie-in to Resident Evil 7. Then again, not a complete failure. I learned of Rose thanks to them, and I knew she would be the perfect vessel. There was some interference, but I was able to verify her suitability. Now my research is finally complete. Ava, I have waited so long to see you again. The only reason I know how to pronounce that is because of Evita, the musical about Evita Perón from Argentina. Of all ways to learn how to pronounce that name. Okay, so she said another defect, Eveline, and I'm like, it kind of makes me wonder, like, Eveline has to look like her daughter, right? That's what because I assumed, why would she assume this would work otherwise? But that's what I kind of wondered. All right, let's make sure I didn't miss anything. There we go. Now that's looking old. I wish they would write on the back of these photos like people used to. So that's got to be Miranda when she was younger, I'm guessing. Obviously when she was younger, because this is before. So this would probably be in... I don't know, did they ever say how old she got? Maybe she did die as a baby. Maybe the Eveline we're seeing is just... I don't know. It's weird to think about that. How would she know it's her daughter? You'd think she had to have gotten old enough for her to recognize her, right? But maybe... So the thing about Eveline that always kind of bothered me, that people always said, like they always say in the game that Evelyn's the thing that, you know, they don't treat Eveline like a victim, and I'm like, in a way she is though. Like like she's not just mold. She had to come from a human embryo based on how they explained her. And so I don't know. Is this little girl what her daughter actually looked like? How old was she when she died? I don't know if they said that. If they did, I missed it. She only had the one picture when she was a baby. There's so many unanswered questions here. Alright. So, there's no way to check a map here, so I don't think we're supposed to. I don't think we missed anything in this room. Alright. I feel like there's a lot to unbox in this place, but I feel like we unboxed it as we went through it, so I think I'll just move on. Feels... Wait. Doesn't he have a knife? Why is the knife not automatically equipped? Hey, don't do that in real life. Mia!
Show me your hands! Umbrise, this is Alpha. Where is Miranda right now?
Still at the ceremony site. Whatever she's doing, she's staying put.
God damn.
That's the real thing.
It really is you. I'm glad you're safe, Mia. Why are you here?
I was caught in Houston experiments.
Wait, did you say Mia? Mia Winters?
In the flesh. What's the situation up there?
Kind of a war going on. Nothing we can't handle.
Don't get distracted. Stick to the mission. I'm headed to the ceremony site.
Wait! You can't leave me here. You promised, damn it! You said that you would keep us safe. We did everything that you asked. We moved over here, everything! And I didn't care. So long as we were together. So you tell me, where is my husband? Where is my daughter?
Ethan is... he's gone. I couldn't save him. But I can save Rose. Come on. It's not safe here after all.
What do you mean he's gone?
He's dead. I'm sorry, Mia, but we have to leave. We have to destroy this village.
No! You're wrong. I tried to keep this a secret, but... you don't understand how special he is.